I'm Margaret Pierce Clarrissimeaux, and I am 63 years old. Today is Tuesday, June 13th, 2023, and I am at Mount Saint Vincent in West Seattle, and I'm here with my mom, Dolores Pierce.
I'm not sure what to say. I am 90 years old. I will be 91 in July.
Mom and I are here together at Mount Saint Vincent. We're here to share my brother David's story. I have a twin brother named David. Actually, it's Charles David Pierce. And David came to Mount Saint Vincent in 2001. He was 41 years old. Now, you might be wondering why a 41-year-old would be coming to Mount Saint Vincent, which is a home for elders. At the age of 17, David was in a very serious automobile accident. As a result of that accident, he had a brain stem contusion. David was actually in a coma for 4 months, and when he came out of the coma, he was paralyzed. David also could not talk. Fortunately, he had some ability to move his eyebrows and his facial muscles. We invented a spelling code for him. It was a very organized code that was very simple. David was actually able to communicate effectively by using a spelling code and his eyebrow movements. Even though his body was no longer functioning and his voice wasn't functioning, his intellect was intact. We used to call him David the Dictionary because he was such a great speller, and we were always asking him to spell out words that we were trying to spell because we knew he'd be able to do it correctly. The reason why we came to Mount Saint Vincent is because my mom had taken care of David at home. Following his accident, my parents remodeled their home and my mom took care of him and my dad, but it became hard. After doing it for 23 years, David himself had gone from being 18 when he came home to 41, and mom was in her 70s then. He was actually 6'1", and Mom was 5'2", and it was really challenging to get him from bed to wheelchair, and then from wheelchair to recliner. Mom, could you talk a little bit about David?
Well, David was a wonderful boy, but he could be very difficult. And there were times when, God help me, I had to bite my tongue. It was a challenge, there's no doubt about that. And David could be very stubborn. And once he decided he did or did not want something, you might as well forget it. Everybody did their best to make life as good as it could be under the conditions.
We actually knew David more as a quadriplegic. In his state after the accident, we knew him for twice as long as we did when he was just his normal, straight-A, athletic baseball player self. David died at Mount Saint Vincent. He was at Mount Saint Vincent for 13 years, and he died in his sleep. And he died in the evening. It was February 12th, 2014, and he was 54 years old. The Mount has this amazing chapel, and we were honored to have our memorial, our service for David in the chapel at Mount Saint Vincent, and the room was full. After 14 years, my parents had made so many connections, and everybody was so sweet and so in love with David. It was a full house. There were residents and staff. Surprisingly, there were a lot of friends from high school, so it felt a little bit like a high school reunion. Even after David's death, my mom and dad continued to come to the Mount, and Mom actually became a volunteer. Mom, do you want to talk about some of the volunteer things you did after David died?
Well, they used to put on some wonderful luncheons for the volunteers in the cafeteria after the noon lunch. I can remember that. We even got champagne one time. Oh, and another thing we did, we went to the Sheraton, and that was very nice.
I thought you were going to mention the gingerbread houses, because I remember rolling David through there once.
Oh, yeah. At Christmas time, that dining room was all cleared out, and they just had Christmas trees that the Mount had put up. I mean, the Mount was a good experience. It really was.
I love you, Mom. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, my word, of course.